Hi yogis, this is Cindy. I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about some of the common areas in the body that give us problems. Inevitably when I teach a public class, I ask people if they want something or need something. And these things I'm going to talk about in this next video series are the things that I get requests or questions about the most. So today we're going to talk about the neck and just the top of the shoulders and getting a little bit of relief there if you've got pain from tech neck, from looking at your computer, from looking at your phone, or maybe you just slept on it funny and you need a little bit of relief. All you really need for this is a blanket, and we're going to spend most of our time seated, so you can take your blanket and just sit right on the very edge of the blanket just to give the hips a little lift. Crossing the legs until you feel nice and comfortable and taking the palms of the hands down to the thighs or the knees. When we start, we want to make sure we come into a nice upright position. So sit up nice and tall, root the sits bones down, and think about the bones of your spine stacking up so it gives you that nice tall lift, and then allowing all of the muscles of the body to kind of relax down around it. Now before we start, let's just take a little assessment of kind of how much rotation you have in the neck. So keeping the hands right where they are, take an inhale. And then as you exhale, turn your gaze all the way to the left and see kind of how far you can go with that rotation. Inhale, come on back to center. And then exhale, go the other way to the right, finding whatever degree of rotation you have here. Coming back to center, and we'll do that at the end so you can kind of get a comparison of how much relief you've gained through these different postures and movements. First thing we're going to do is get a little bit of movement in the shoulders. Again, use an inhale, squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears, and then exhale, roll them down and back, lifting through the chest, lifting through the heart. 2 more times, inhale, squeeze the shoulders up. Exhale, roll them down and back. And then for this third one, we're going to really exaggerate it. So squeeze the shoulders up like you're making earrings of your shoulders. And then exhale, roll the shoulders all the way down and back, lifting through the chest and staying right here with those shoulder blades rolled down the back. For the first posture, you're simply going to take your chin all the way down to your chest, leaning forward and stretching through these muscles and tendons all the way at the back of the neck. Now for some of you, this might be enough right here, but if you want to add a little bit more sensation, you can take your hands and knit the fingers together, draping them at the base of the skull, and let the elbows kind of hang down to the side, adding a little bit of weight and a little bit of pressure to this stretch. You're not yanking or pulling, you're not forcing yourself any further than is comfortable. You're just letting this weight add a little bit more stretch and a little bit more tension. Take 4 long, smooth breaths here, letting the head hang. And then once those breaths are complete, use an inhale to gently begin to lift the head, using the hands to press the head forward and allowing the elbows to come all the way back towards the wall. Exhale, roll yourself all the way down again, chin to chest. Pause for a breath or 2. Inhale, come on back up. This time as you press your hands towards your head and your head towards your hands, lean yourself back, just gently pressing those shoulders down and back. Chin to chest, roll it down nice and slow. And then stay here for another 4 breaths, just letting yourself hang. Maybe finding a little bit of movement of the head, gently rotating the chin towards the armpit. Movement isn't required, but sometimes that'll add a little bit of stretch to the shape. Eventually allowing the hands to come down to the thighs and bringing the head all the way back up. Next thing we're going to do is take the hands, take them behind your back, knit the fingers, and press the knuckles down towards the floor as you lift through the chest. You can give your shoulders a little bit of a roll back here so you open up through the collarbones, open up through the heart. Take the hands and then slide them all the way to your right hip. You can press the palms of the hands together. And sometimes it might be a little lower, it might be a little higher. Just find a comfortable place. You're drawing your left shoulder down and away, and so you're going to tip your right ear towards your right shoulder to lengthen out that whole right side of the neck. Again, you're not forcing this. You're not trying to make it do anything other than just lengthen through that side of the neck a little bit at a time. You can drop these hands down a little bit further, pull that shoulder down a little bit more, or work it around until you find a comfortable place to stay for about 4 breaths. Once you finish those 4 breaths, slowly start to rotate your gaze over towards this right shoulder. You'll feel that stretch begin to move into the back part of the neck. You can pause here for 3 or 4 breaths and even move a little bit, adjusting the chin, lifting up, lifting down. And then eventually you can find a little bit of movement here, rotating the chin down towards the collarbone, bringing the ear towards the shoulder, and then turning the gaze over towards the shoulder. Just moving through these motions 5 or 6 times, moving with your breath. And if you find any place that feels particularly interesting, maybe you just stay there for a breath or 2, keeping the breath moving in the body, but letting the muscles react, letting the fascia and all of the tendons and muscles relax to this lengthening activity. Slowly bring the ear back to the shoulder, bring the head upright. Take your arms back behind you and just let the shoulders and the arms rest for a moment. Just sit up tall, maybe close your eyes and take a breath or 2 in between. And then we'll move over to the other side. Same thing, the hands are going to go over to the left this time, finding that perfect place to land. And then you're going to allow your left ear to come over to your left shoulder, lengthening through the whole right side of the neck. And what you may notice is that it feels very different on this side of the neck from the other side of the neck. And sometimes this right side has a little bit more tension. Even if we are not right dominant, we use our right side a lot for driving, reaching, for other things. And so take this nice and slow and easy. Adjust those arms until you find just the right place to land. Stay here for 3 or 4 breaths. Eventually, you turn your gaze over towards that shoulder, finding that stretch, moving into the tendons at the back of the neck. Adjusting the chin a little bit side to side if you find one place that feels better than the other. Chin comes down to the collarbone, letting the head hang heavy. And then you start to find that movement, ear to shoulder, gaze to shoulder, and then chin to collarbone. Moving nice and slow, moving through this flow 3 or 4 times, maybe finding a place that you want to stay that feels better than the other. And then bringing your ear back to the shoulder, bringing the head upright. You can release the arms, take them back down to your thighs just for a couple breaths. And then the last thing we're going to do is called the Magic Genie arm stretch. So for those of you that are of the age to remember I Dream of Jeannie, your arms are going to be just like that. We're going to start with the right arm on top, and we're going to take this right arm and just gently pull the left arm over to the right side. And you're going to do this a few times, just moving through this small range of motion. You're pulling this left shoulder down and away, just very gently. This next time, as we do this motion, turn your head to the left, and then slowly come back to center. Head to the left, and slowly back to center. So we're going to do the other side. We just switch the stack of the arms. This time we're going to use the left hand to gently pull the right elbow over to the side. Again, it might feel very different on this side, so allow yourself to find the place that feels like a good stretch, but not so much that it's painful. 3 rounds there. We're going to add the neck the next time, so bring the arm over, turn the gaze to the right. Inhale, come back to center. And then turn the gaze to the right again. Come on back to center, release those hands down to your lap. And if you remember at the very beginning, we took that rotation of the head. So let's do that again to see what kind of change we've made. Take a deep breath in, sit up tall. As you exhale, rotate all the way to the left and see if you can find a little bit more space here. Inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, turn all the way to the right. And just notice what kind of difference you've got. Thanks so much. That's all I've got for you today. See you soon.